on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kevin Jackwitz. This is the Kaged Review, and this is nearing the end of my revisited reviews for the MCU and DCEU movies. We got one more after this, and then we move on to the X-Men series. So, Joker. I actually just saw this the other day, like 2 days ago, and just as good as it was the first time I saw it, if not better. I really feel that, in my personal opinion, I love Parasite. It was a good movie, but I felt like this, honestly, was the better movie. They kind of dealt with very similar topics, and I felt like this just was more fleshed out. I really loved it, man. Absolutely a wonderful job, and I thought it probably should have won more Oscars than it did. Having said that, directed by Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix comes in as Arthur Fleck, the Joker. Robert De Niro comes in as Murray Franklin, Zazie Beetz as Sophie Dumond, which is a neighbor in Arthur Fleck's apartment building. You have Frances Conroy plays Penny Fleck, Arthur's mother. You have, let me get all this right, Britt Cullen as Thomas Wayne, Dante Pereira-Olson as very young Bruce Wayne, Douglas Hodge as Alfred Pennyworth, and then you also have Shea Wiggum as Detective Burke and Bill Camp as Detective Garrity, two cops who are trying to find out if Arthur Fleck is responsible for some murders at one point. And then you have Lee Gill, who is a co-worker that winds up giving Arthur Fleck a gun, which is kind of how we start out the movie. So it starts out, Joker, he's this very left-of-center character. He is a sign spinner for this company that makes them wear like clown makeup and outfits. He spins signs, a sign gets taken by a group of kids. So he's chasing them and kind of goes down a back alley where they beat the hell out of Joker. And so the next day, this guy gives him a gun, and he's like, man, you got to protect yourself, you know, shit's getting crazy out there. And so that's kind of like the beginning of the end right there within itself. You realize very quickly that Arthur Fleck has an affliction. He's got a brain injury that causes him to laugh at very uncomfortable moments. If he gets weirded out or he's uncomfortable or whatever, this laughing fit that he can't control happens, and sometimes he tries to stifle it, and it's very hard for him to control and can even be painful. And so they establish that very well at the beginning. And that comes into play in the next big scene where he gets jumped again because now he's on a subway. There's three rich guys. They're harassing this girl. She looks at Arthur Fleck on the other side of the car. He starts laughing, you know, kind of distracts him for a second. She walks away. So they start fucking with Arthur Fleck. And of course they start to beat him down, and now he's got a gun, so he shoots two of them dead right away. And this is where you really see the Joker start to take shape, because he really relishes the third kill. He's like stalking the last guy, and he shoots him a bunch of times. And then of course he just runs like hell because first time he's killed anybody. But then that's really the beginning of like Arthur Fleck turning into the Joker. And then you start to unravel like the backstory. His mother, Penny Fleck, you know, she used to work for Thomas Wayne, and unfortunately she's very mentally ill, and she used to make up this like imaginary scenario with her and Thomas Wayne being in a relationship, and she told Arthur Fleck that he was Thomas Wayne's son, which would make him Batman's brother. But then you find out when Arthur Fleck goes to see Thomas Wayne at a theater, he reveals that Penny Fleck is very mentally ill. She had all these weird fantasies that weren't true. And in truth, before anybody knew she was that mentally ill, she adopted Arthur Fleck. So he was actually an adopted kid. And they found out that they admitted Penny Fleck to an institution. And when they found Arthur in her apartment, he was tied to a radiator, and there was trauma to his head because her boyfriend used to beat the hell out of him. And so it was kind of like they created the condition in Arthur Fleck. So it's like mental illness begets mental illness, violence begets violence. And so I thought it was very smart in that way. And another little side plot was that Arthur Fleck wanted to be a stand-up comedian, of course. And his sense of humor was very askew. There was a great scene where he went to a comedy club for like research. And every time the comedian would land a punchline, the audience would laugh, but he really wouldn't. And he would always laugh on like the offbeats and the times no one else was laughing. And so you see that his sense of humor was just not what everybody else's is. And so Murray Franklin, the Robert De Niro character, is a TV show host that saw Arthur Fleck bombing in this nightclub, and he kind of poked fun of him on the show, and then invited Arthur Fleck to the show. And so Arthur Fleck, you know, he gets the big reveal that his mother had lied to him his whole life, and so she's in a hospital bed. He goes and he suffocates her, and then he leaves and he goes to prepare to go on the Murray show. And of course he's rehearsing, and as he's rehearsing, you see that he plans on shooting himself in the head on the Murray show. He plans on committing suicide right there. When he finally gets to the Murray show, though, things change. There's been a big build-up after the 3 rich guys on the train were shot to death by Arthur Fleck. Nobody knew who it was, but they saw it was a guy in clown makeup or a clown mask. And so he kind of became this lightning rod between this social division between the poor and the rich. And so Arthur Fleck goes on the show, and he admits to killing the rich guys. And he's just said he's tired of people being so terrible and this and that. And goes into this big spiel about, you know, why people are just kind of despicable. And he turns his attention to Murray Franklin. He says, you know, you tried to poke fun of me. And a great line, you know what you get when you try to make fun of the mentally ill. I forget exactly what it was worded, but it's like, you get what you fucking deserve. And he shoots Murray right there on live TV. And so, of course, he's arrested. But now this lightning rod blew up. And as they're driving Arthur Fleck away in a cop car, there's riots. Everything's in chaos. Their building's burning. And Arthur Fleck is just smiling. And then you see a car out of nowhere just driving really fast, hit the cop car. Arthur Fleck's in, it flips. These people pull Arthur Fleck out of the car, and they put him on top of another car inside this riot area. And that's kind of like the birth of the Joker and his followers. And so, you know, the division was a powder keg that just blew at that point. And I thought it was very well done. It really touched on some major issues with mental health and class divide. And I thought it was just done very, very well. Better, I thought, than Parasite. And that's my opinion. I know everybody has their own opinion about things. That's fine. This is my flavor. I really loved this movie. So I gave it a 10 out of 10 last time. Of course, I give it a 10 out of 10 this time. It was just a damn good movie. Written, directed very, very well, and acted to perfection by Joaquin Phoenix. He was going to make or break this movie, and he totally made it. So that's where I'm at. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackowitz, Kaged Nation, out.